Guys, so last week I was talking about freedom and finding freedom for you, and a big component of that is just learning to let go. But often one roadblock to letting go is an inability to forgive either ourselves or forgive other people that have hurt us. And one thing I find with a lot of my clients is that there's a conflict inside themselves between they're being told that they need to forgive and forget and let go, but that's not how they feel. Inside themselves, they have a huge amount of anger and resentment, and they're not ready to forgive and they're not ready to let go of a mistake either that they've made it themselves, or if someone has hurt them or they've been the victim of some kind of abuse. As a therapist, I would never force someone or tell someone that they need to forgive anybody. Forgiveness is a very organic process. It happens naturally. It happens in their own time. They'll come to that conclusion themselves. And also, especially if there's any kind of abuse within a family unit, and we're still very enmeshed in our family, being told that they need to forgive someone in their family, whether it's a parent or a sibling, for any kind of abuse, it's actually a huge burden for them, and it weighs down on them, and it actually blocks their own growth, and it just isn't their natural state. It isn't naturally how they feel. This is very much about trying to find their own truth, and anger may be their truth in that moment, and maybe they have to be angry, maybe they need to stay angry at that person for a while. Now, I'm not encouraging acting out that anger, but I'm just talking about being completely honest with the emotions and how you feel. And I mean, anger and grief are brother and sister. They're very tightly ingrained, and maybe if you're angry at somebody and you haven't forgiven them, there's probably a part of you still grieving the relationship and grieving the changes that the relationship have gone through. So again, the big part is learning to be honest with yourself. Don't force yourself to forgive. Now, at some point in life, you have to forgive. If you're carrying so much anger, either for yourself or for somebody else, that's energy that's better spent elsewhere in life, but also keep you emotionally enmeshed in unhealthy relationships. And I see people who carry anger for someone who has died many, many years ago, and yet they still carry all these resentments for how they were treated or all different events and situations, and they carry all these around with them, and they know themselves as there's a time to let go, but they're just not ready to do it now, and I certainly wouldn't force them to do it. They have to come to that conclusion themselves. So if you are somebody who finds it very hard to forgive, don't force yourself to forgive, but do question why you're holding on as long as you are, and be completely honest with yourself and say, yeah, I feel like being angry at this person right now, and I'm going to hold on to this anger for a while. In truth, you're only really hurting you, because most people, they just move on with their life and they don't hold on to the mistakes that they've made. This is about you, and you learn to forgive yourself and forgive others. And forgiveness is very much a state of mind, and it becomes a practice, a part of your daily life. You learn to forgive all minor indiscretions of all sizes, but very often we do learn to hold on. I said it last week in the video, we just learn to hold on to these experiences. We never taught how to forgive. We never taught how to let go of mistakes, our own mistakes, and maybe we were excessively punished for making mistakes, and then that could be the root of your anger, and maybe that's a part of you that you have to forgive those people who criticize you, and you've now internalized all those messages. So it starts that you forgive yourself, and then you forgive them for the damage they've done to you, and then you move on and live your life. So I suppose the point of the video is just, don't force yourself to forgive. Question why you're holding on for as long as you are, and be completely honest. And if you decide that you want to stay angry, then stay angry. But just be aware that because you are still enmeshed in that situation or in that relationship with that person, and there will be a time to let go. And again, don't even force yourself to find that time, but just reflect and be honest with yourself, and talk about it to other people. I find a lot of people, they bottle up so much anger, and they're afraid to even tell other people how other people might react. And some people do turn around and say, oh, you need to let go of that, and others may just be understanding. And again, that's part of the therapeutic process, is sharing and being completely and utterly honest. And some people will react badly, and some will react exactly the way you need them to react, and it's taking a leap of faith. So that's it, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.